commencement of the paper presentation, now we have this another special invited talk on the role of dhyana in traditional teaching learning processes and its application in current day educational scenario. And this talk is by Professor Ramachandra Bhatt, who is my guru, my Shastra Guru in Veda Vijnana Gurukula. Acharya Ramachandra Bhatt is a great scholar in Vedanta and Prachina Nyaya. He is the convener of the Gurukula education in Karnataka. There are 3 Gurukulas: Veda Vijnana Gurukula in Bangalore, Maitreyi Gurukula for girls in Mangalore, and then Prabodhini Gurukula for boys in near Sringeri Hariharapura. So he guides, he's a Margadarshaka for the entire Gurukula system of education that's happening in Karnataka. And then Acharya is also the Margadarshaka in the Bharatiya Shikshana Mandal institution under the Gurukula Prakalpa. Sri Ramachandra Bhatt was former Vice Chancellor of S. Vyasa University, Yoga University, Bengaluru, and is serving chairman of Veda Vijnana Shodha Samsthana. It's a Bengaluru-based research center which works in the area of Sanskrita and Indic studies. Professor Ramachandra Bhatt has guided over many students in a PhD on yoga. He has authored 13 books on culture, Gurukula education, teaching methodology, yoga psychology, and he has been awarded D.Lit from the Tumkur University for his monumental work titled Veda Vijnana Paramyam, and several awards and recognitions have come his way, including Bhavabhuti Puraskara awarded by Madhya Pradesh government, and Guru Gauravam by Jnana Prabodhini Pune, Acharya Pravara by Shri Sonda Swarnavalli Samsthana Karnataka, Vidvat Satkara by Rashtriya Samskrita Vidyapitha Himachal Pradesh, and many other organizations. In recognition of his expertise and scholarship, he has been nominated both in the past and present as a member of many prestigious academic, administrative, and advisory bodies across the country, including Karnataka Knowledge Commission, Government of Karnataka, Higher Education Planning Committee, Government of Gujarat, Yoga Education Planning Committee, Higher Education Department of Government of Karnataka, Central Committee of Maharshi Sandipini Veda Vidya Pratisthana Ujjaini, and so on. Such an illustrious scholar, my guru, Sri Ramachandra Bhatt is here. Now I invite him to deliver his special invited lecture on dhyana and its implication on the education, past and present.
Om Namah Pranavarthaya Shuddha Jnanaikamurtaye Nirmanaya Prashantaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Muditosmi Pramuditosmi. Today, you, the highly respected organizers of various spiritually based, scientifically connected subject areas, on behalf of, on the aegis of Indic, these areas are so attractive to me because they are actual, factual, and very much experiential and experimented. in particular, the field which is most liked in my life, which was the main foodstuff throughout my life journey, that is education. Bharatiya Jnana Parampara Yuganukula Paksha. So that very happy and very much Abhinandanam for you all. I just qualified this particular subject domain with many adjectives. Yes. As soon as I just started contemplating on this subject area, I just go back to that Himalayan water source, Ganga, Gomukha, that is the Vedic sources, Ruggeju Sama, Atharva Saha. Already that part very much cultured by the most revered Swamiji just now, referring to many Upanishadic sources like Atmavare Shrotavya, Drashtavya Shrotavya, Mantavya, Jidhyasitavya. My area is very much connected to the present problem. That is where I wanted to give some justice and nurture and culture that domain. Because now NEP is there before us, National Education Policy or New Education Policy, where we wanted to bring novelty, and using that recommendation, we wanted to revolutionize the whole education system, whether it is Shala Shikshana or higher Shikshana, upper. I am very much connected and active in that field. And through education, whatever values we imbibe and impart to the next generation, that will have very perpetual, permanent bearings and values in uplifting our moral and many standards, cognitive standards, many standards. That is why I am very much interested to give justice as much as possible. Sitting here in this Gurukula ambience, I am very much value added. I am supported by actual and factual, something experiential and more experimented, more evidence-based. That is very small introductory part of my talk. Now I come to the factual part. As we know, we have three khandhas: karma, dhyana, jnana. These are all the real, very important core, essential parts of the whole Veda. Dhyana builds a bridge between karma and jnana. If you want to have so much efficiency and result-oriented activity at karma kanda level, you must have jhana. It must be supported by jhana. Otherwise, your karma will be not so much useful. So, kayena vacha karmana, whatever you do, it must be supported by jhana. Ekagrata, ekatanata. All these words are understandable to this audience, I think. They are all very much acquainted with these idioms and words. Shastri, Shabdavali. In the same time, we talk about cognitive clarity, Jnana Pramanyam, which takes us to the highest pinnacle of purest form of cognizance. There again, without jhana, you cannot move a step ahead, forward. That is why this is very, very important. We are in karma paksha. We are in dharma paksha. Because dharma is defined like that. By three karanas, whatever we do, anugrahascha dhanancha satam dharma sanatana. Kayena vacha buddhya. So using all these God-given instruments embedded in our inner personality, we proceed further and try for that ultimate purushartha moksha also, crossing three dharma artha kama. Everywhere, if you want to go for excellence, dhyana value addition is very much inevitable. With this understanding, you have to proceed. In the educational journey, starting from womb to tomb, which is very popularly known in the educational field, we must go for this value, dhyana value. Very much actual, factual, very much experiential. Where that particular stuff, it is very well cultured, nurtured from very womb level. If parents take this part, dhyana part means what? It is nadanusandhana. That means concentrating on some onkara or some japa. When that new progeny is just blossoming in mother's womb, if mother starts this type of dhyana, its impact is so wonderful. That is why dhyana got its role to play from womb to toe. I don't go for the samadhi toe part. That is a wonderful part for yogis and Vedantis. So much we heard about that. But at very starting level, beginning level, atha om of our life journey, if mother, father both take this value, Ishtadevata dhyana, that is whatever deity they like, there they concentrate and channelize their mental power so that they will be proper modules for parenthood. Udatta Mata, Udatta Pita. Just to make them supporting for Adhishila, we must go for dhyana. We must take this part. Adhishila level I am just now attending, which we call it Adhishila in our Bharatiya Jnana Parampara. So, Shila is that part which is naturally transmitted from parents, that too through the mother. So, mother is so much funded with this understanding, Suputro Jayeta, Kuputro Jayeta, that part will be very much time-friendly problem now. Shankaracharya told, Kuputro Jayeta Kuchit Kumata Nabhavati. But now, it is sometime otherwise. Mothers are not properly educated about their motherhood, their culture. That Sheela, Sadachara, for which mothers are the real role models. They are Samskriti Vahinis, cultural ambassadors for Sheela. Because that blossoming progeny, Santanam, it takes that acquaintance from that source. That is the real model. Matra Chaya, it is called in our terminology. So Matri Chaya is very much nurtured and cultured by dhyana. Such mother's role model, it is there in our tradition. Arundhati was that type of mother. Are so many Sita, Draupadi, all such Brahmavadini is there. Brahmavadini Parampara, it is called. Brahmavadini Parampara is that tradition which stands for motherhood, not for just womanhood. It is not only Stritvam, it is Matrutvam. What is the difference? More and more channelization of mind and samskara among mothers, that will help you to cultivate that Adhishila Shikshana at that tender age, up to that 7th or 8th, or in this particular period, modern age, it is 11th to 12th, that particular span of time of everyone's life span, life journey, that is called Adhishila. So in that Adhishila Shikshana, Dhyana got its own very, very importance. That is why when you mother is there growing in the mother's womb, or it takes birth and gradually growing up, you must arrange that dhyana. What dhyanam it is? Nadanusandhanam. So that child will be always, while going for sleep and just waking up, you facilitate that Omkara Dhvani or Pratasmaranam or some ragas like Bhopali, like Hamsadhvani, like so many such, Shankarabharana, Bhairavi. You need not go for its scholarly competency part, but its impact, which helps for emotional culturing. That is called emotional culture. Some ragas are so much, they are very much helpful for purification of mind. For that, we can just organize that type of Nadopasana. It is called Nadopasana. In that particular age, Nadopasa or Nadanusandhana. I don't go for any big jugglery or something charm or something upasanam. They are very great. For shastric exercise, understanding and research, that is wonderful. For education, for the sake of education, that too for tender children, growing, blooming, blossoming children. This Nadopasana, this Nadanusandhana, it is very much helpful. It cultivates the Shila. What is the Shila? It is training our karma, jnana, indriyas, and all our emotional faculties. Like basically they are on other side, Shraddha will be there, on other left side, Kama also there, instinct will be there. What that particular emotion to be cultured through that mechanism, your dhyana mechanism, that is very, very important dhyana. There. If you just play flute and play some ragas, and so while just listening to that very waves, dhvani, nada, children get motivated. And their prana shakti covering all 72,000 nadis will be activated and vibrating. And gradually, when pranamaya kosha is purified and manomaya kosha is sublimated, emotionally purified, gradually child's growth physically also very much healthy. In the same time, intellectual growth also becomes very natural. Consequently, from that very age, whatever you say, that what is an emotional quotient or intelligence quotient, everything will be blooming. Because spiritual quotient is very much attended, addressed by you parents. Once this Adhishila is properly taken care of, very basic, strong basic foundation is laid down, After that, the child grow very naturally. That is why for that again another supporting thing added, that is called Ditiya Janma Upanayana. It is irrespective of their gender and color, this and all that. Upanayana is Dhi Diksha, that Dhi Diksha, Gayatri Upasana is a wonderful validation in that natural process, growth in that academic and research area. These basic things are culture and nurture. Child will take care of its own growth and identifies its own distinct areas of its interest and aptitudes. Then whether it is brilliant in mathematics or science or in something activity centered cultivations or Vanijya Shastra or Vijnana Shastra, any Shastra, Vedanta, Nyaya, Mimamsa, Vyakarna, any area they can grow. That is what the system laid down in our Rishi Parampara. Next, you come to the Chitta level, Adhichitta. Chitta level, it is after more or less 10th of one's age or 12th. In that particular juncture, that very necessity arises and child naturally takes a small shift. So that more than Matri Chaya, it only prefers and likes to be in the company of knowledgeable people. Those who can share their knowledge. Those who can give more and more light of knowledge, information, knowledge and wisdom. Because child will develop that type of inquisitiveness, questioning, prashnika pravritti will be more. It starts asking questions and questions while moving in the garden, while moving with friends. Why, what, where, which, how, all series of that interrogative utterances comes from that child. Then you have to address naturally. That is called Karanikaranam, Pramanikaranam, Avivyakti-karanam, Samajiki-karanam. That is how these words we use Adhichitta at Adhichitta level. Whenever it raises that question, you go on answering and answering. So it will be asking about cause and effect. Sometime it will be asking about impact. Sometime mathematical questions for basic competency related mathematical questions. Gunakara, Bhagakara. Somewhere even why this man is laughing, why this flower is blooming. Like that inquisitiveness grows. More and more questioning, more and more answering, or eliciting answers. This process is very active at Adhichitta level. That is why we call it Karanikarana. Karanikarana also, it presupposes that mental channelization, because the child will be watching. So this ant is moving slowly. And this was yesterday in that closed posture. Now it is blossomed. Why it is? That is why every activity, every sound, every form, every structure, everything creates more and more inquisitiveness. It is leading to that. So question will be freely expressed by growing Kumara. So that Bhagavata says, that is the real area of cognizance, expansion of cognizance. Kaumara achare prajnaha dharman Bhagavata niha. Srimad Bhagavatam says. So in this Kumara Bhava, adolescence, more and more of Karanikarana, reasoning, analyzing, synthesizing, calculating, computing, whatnot, everything. It grows. This is Chitta level. All these basic competencies will be ignited, activated. So beautiful it is. So that this Abhivyakti Karanam also, Abhivyaktikarana means it starts expressing. So more and more language. We are talking in national education policy, we talk. At that age, they have wonderful, enormous competency, capacities to grasp many languages. You give 1, 2, 3. Now so much discussion going on about Sanskritam. Is it so tough? Nothing tough. I myself in my Agrahara, how could I study Mahakavyas, Champu Ramayanas, Champu Bharatas, Adi Kavi, Panchamahakavya, everything so easily? Because that much competency will be embedded, God given. That we utilize and channelize, that's all. For that, it is again Dhyanameva. That is why you get up early in the morning and Brahma Murta, go for Pancha, Pranayama, Onkara Dhyana, and Gayatri Japa. That is called again another part of Nadam And in the same time, when you just move around in the garden, look and learn, start children or Kumaras, adolescent boys, they go on grasping and understanding. In our Gurukulam, we create that type of. So small group with accompanied with Mataji or Acharya, just move around. Whenever, whatever type of questions are asked, we go on addressing and sharing our knowledge. Sometimes they give knowledge to us, sometimes we give. There is no any classification between teacher and taught or Acharya and Antevasi. Going together, enriching each other's cognizance, knowledge level. That is Adhijita. And then it is leading to Adhiprajna. So that Prajna Vivekam Labhate Bhinnaihi Agama Darshanaihi. That is how Bhartahari puts it. Prajna Vivekam Labhate. What is that ingredient of Prajna Shakti? It is Viveka Shakti. What is that Viveka Shakti? Distinguishing good and bad, acceptable, unacceptable. That Viveka. This Viveka Buddhi arises slowly at Prajna level. For that, it is Guru Upasadanam, Guru Pada Padme eva bhutva adhyanam. It is not something online, Pratyaksha Shikshana. That is why we want Acharyas and Matrasris, who are the real role models by their practice, not mere preaching. Such Acharya, by very presence, they spread that vibration. That type of atmosphere we create in Gurukulam. That is only Gurukulam where these parts are well taken. Not only just juggleries or mental exercise, not only Kutarka or something. Now in the name of college education, this and that, creativity, scientific, this, that, sometimes it is more negative. It must be made people friendly, pupil friendly. For that, this Adhiprajna level. Vivekam Labhate, Agama Darshana, that is the correct word, underline, to be underlined. Agama Darshana, that means Agama Darshana is only under the divine feet of Gurus. They are the real Gurus who impart that Agama and Darshana. With that, they develop that Prajna. And not last, it has no end at all. Because when you come to that Navanuvan Mesha Adhishila, more and more you are concentrated, one-pointed, focused totally, then only you can go for creating something, some documentary things or something in the name of research papers or research works. Otherwise, we go for just cut and paste. Something, everything frail. No, we don't want. So that when you come to that Shodha level, gradually crossing Bodha level, in that Adhiprajna, when you come to this Adhipratibha, it is focused on Shodha. But without Bodha, what is your Shodha? Now we are, what is that research going on? That's why Adhipratibha, Prajna, Nava Unmesha. Without Dhyana Shakti, without contemplation, without concentrated mind power, mental power, we cannot go for Shodha. That is why whole educational journey starting from Adhishila, it is only Dhyanam. Without Dhyanam, no karma. Without Dhyanam, no Jnana. That is how this Dhyana, it builds a bridge between the greatest human values, that is karma and jnana. So education is my focus. Now I am very happy. This much I could share with you all. Only one thing, we have 3 kandas. It is Jnana Kanda, guided by Vyasa Maharshi. Another one is Dhyana Kanda, guided by Sankarshana. And another Karma Kanda, guided by another great Rishi, Jaimini. Now all these branches of Shastras to be restated, researched in the light of modern needs. That too, NEP, National Education Policy. Because total personality development is our main aim. There, dhyana is the highest value. Some may argue jnana is the highest level. Now we are talking, ours is knowledge-based society, this and that. Okay. For that knowledge also becomes pure when it is supported by dhyana. That is santata shakti, prasantata pravaha. Okay, that is fine. So that nadaanusandhana, rupanusandhana, and again it is kriyanusandhana. That also we must go for that in every schooling center. Before we go to that, our Omkara Dhyana, and that is very much important. Even Kriya Dhyana means inhaling, exhaling. There also that exercise also we have to exercise to be brought. So with that Kriyanusandhana and Nadanusandhana, once a child enters any learning center, that learning will be effective learning, creative learning. Otherwise, you will be pouring water, that water is wasted. So, Dhyanam is the highest and practical and factual and experienced, experimented, evidence-based means for education. Itham Shastriya Vicharam Bhavatam Savidhe Nivedya Vinamami Dhyanen Atmani Vindanti Keshid Atmanam Atmana. Om Swasti. Sarvebhya Dhanyawadah. Samarpayate.
Kritagnaha vayam, dhanyaha vayam acharyaha. So the dhyana, the another dimension or Hindu perspective is that came out through this talk that as I observe is as in Yoga Sutra we see Prakasha Kriya Sthiti Sheelam Bhogapa Vargartham Drishyam. So dhyana, as it has a apavarga dimension, it has a laukika dimension also, where it slowly, this, if you call it as bhoga or in the worldly experience dimension also, it slowly takes us through the various stages of life and finally leads us to the apavarga. So these two aspects, bhukti mukti, bhoga apavarga. So these are the two sides which are never ignored in Hindu traditions. And the educational role or dimension of dhyana in the educational dimension, we were blessed to hear that from you, Acharya. And for the participants who are listening this, I would like to say that what Acharya ji was speaking was not jnana, it was jnana vijnana sahita. Means it is the adhishila, adhichitta, adhiprajna and adhipratibha shikshana has been implemented for the past 25 years in the 3 gurukulas of Karnataka. So one can visit those gurukulas to see how dhyana has been effectively implemented in these 4 levels of education. Orientation has been given, and batches after batches of students have slowly imbibing this value of dhyana in the process of learning. Various aspects are opening up their knowledge or preparing themselves for the life ahead. So I thank you very much, Acharya ji, for having consented to be here and guide us on this very important topic of implications of dhyana in the educational scenario. Dhanyasmaha.
Sure.